Hello, you dirty potters. How are you today? It is once again time for Project Empty Bowls. For those of you who don't know, Project Empty Bowls is a charity event held by food closets in a lot of cities where ceramic artists such as myself make a bunch of bowls, they donate them to this party, and the tickets sold to that party end up going to the food closets of said city. In Sacramento, we throw one every year, and sometimes I record it, but those parties are a little too fancy for my blood recently, so I've kind of stopped going, to be honest. Potters such as myself use this as a fantastic opportunity to get rid of some of their old glazes, to test out new glazes, and to hone their art form, especially for that of students. Of course, I fall into one of those categories, as I am constantly doing a bunch of glaze tests. I actually thought forward this time and started making the bowls beforehand, except for this time I sort of went overboard. Not only do I have all of those bowls over there, but I also have all of these bowls over here. And not only do I have all of these bowls over here, I also have this stack of what I like to call failure bowls, even though they're technically not failures. Let me explain. Every time I get a kiln load out, I take out all of my bowls because bowls are super easy and stackable in the Bisque. I can very easily get 3 kiln loads of bowls just because the Bisque can touch. So you can stack this, and fit all of these inside of one spot in your kiln. So when they come out of the kiln, I pair them up and make sure they go with their perceived partners. This is a step that I do to make sure that everything fits well together. I sell my bowls on my website, earthnationceramics.com, in pairs. I'm not just selling you one bowl, so it almost always comes like this. Sometimes this is kind of a problem because some bowls don't nest very well, or I make pairs that just didn't go very well because I did the math wrong. So like these two, this shakes in the bowl. I don't want this. These kind of look like the same bowl, but they barely fit into each other. On top of that, sometimes the maker's mark on the bottom pops off. So this is essentially a tester bowl for me. It's a secondhand bowl. Plenty of them don't have the maker's mark popping off, but you can see this one and this one, not much of a nesting bowl now, is it? This goes hand in hand with Project Empty Bowls, mainly because there's nothing really wrong with these bowls. They're fine, actually. Maker's mark, you can glaze them, they're made of porcelain. The only problem is they don't have a pairing, which means they get to be experiment bowls. And in today's video, I'm gonna let you see all the glazes that I have been experimenting on, the entire row I just showed you over here, but we're gonna donate those bowls to Empty Bowls. These bowls here all have pairings and there's absolutely nothing wrong with them, so they're going to be saved for either the website or donated to Empty Bowls in pairs. Of course, the bowls that I donate will be good quality. I don't want you guys thinking that I'm just giving them crappy bowls, but at the same time, this is a good excuse to do all of my tests. On top of that, Amico always sends me a buttload of glaze. So the primary glaze I'm going to be using today is going to be DL-1 Ebony from Amico. I love this glaze. If I had this recipe, I would make it all the time. This would be my standard black. It's super stable. It comes out black. You could fire it to cone 8, I'm sure, and it would be fine. I love this glaze. So this is going to be one of our glazes today. Of course, we got a darker glaze, so let's pick a lighter one. We also have Dante's Gomamon Gray. This is a glaze I've been working on for the past year because Gersley Borate went out and I just didn't have like a fluxy type glaze to do that had great phase separation. So I made this because the mineral change, and it's been turning out great. Here's some pictures of it. It's a fantastic glaze. No, I'm not giving you the recipe because we already proved that some of you can't be trusted. You gotta tell them, baby. Tell them they can't be trusted.
They can't be trusted.
That's right. Okay, I have 2 bowls left, and I also have 2 glazes left, but I kind of don't like this one. I think it's watered down, and I don't know what to do about it. So I have so much faith in this glaze that I think I'm just gonna burn this on both of these. This is another version of my Red Lotus glaze, except for this is like the 3rd iteration of it, right? So we had Red Lotus, and then I made War, which was short for War Greymon, and then I made War V2, and this is War V2 with bismuth in it. So I think this should be a lot easier, because I have tested this before, and it did come out really good. Except for this time, we're gonna put a 30-minute hold at 1800 degrees Fahrenheit, and hopefully we'll get some really good crystal growth. God, I try so hard and someone's always making a mess around here. It's you. You owe me a like button for that. I'm just gonna be that one angry parent in your household who like cleans furiously, and anytime you're like, do you want help? They're like, no. No. Oh, I actually broke that. Oh my God. On the bright side, look at that wall right there. That's crazy good. Although that was a pretty good representation of an angry parent who pretends to want help but neglects it at every turn because they just want to have some type of control over you because they're a toxic person. Because at the end, I did break something that was valuable. See, it all comes back around. Before we put these in the kiln, let's talk about what we're putting in the kiln. Everything here is going to be put in at cone 6 oxidation, and we're going to do a 30-minute hold at 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. That's right, we're using Fahrenheit numbers, baby. So anything with a pinkish hue on the outside like this is my Gomamon Gray. It's a pretty good glaze. I'm really into it. It's a great phase separation glaze. It goes on top of things, it goes under things. This over here is all Amico's DL-1, their ebony glaze. Anything that has this on the outside, this type of color, okay? The inside is really the important part, especially because I think that some of these might crystallize, which is why we're doing the hold. So if we start from here, this here is my matte crystal base. Some time ago, I was trying to play around with large amounts of titanium, and I accidentally made a crystal glaze. I took the titanium out, it was overnucleated, and that's kind of when I started to understand what titanium really does. This here is a rework version of that because I really want that crystal glaze back, especially if it's calcium crystals. This here is Gargomon Green with Gomamon Gray on the outside. Why do so many Digimon names start with a G? There's Garurumon and Gargomon and Greymon and Guillaumon and Gang. This one here has Antilamon's second run. This is technically a calcium crystal glaze that I'm trying to develop, but I put mason stain in it, hoping that it would give it some sort of background to be able to see the crystallization. Calcium crystals just kind of come out white, and if I just don't put any coloration on it or a background to it or something, you're just gonna see white on white, and it's really hard to see the crystals. So I'm hoping by putting mason stain in there that I can either get a new color with little crystals in it or see the crystals a little bit better if they do manifest, especially with that hold. This one here is my attempt at a Bristol effect glaze with bismuth in it. I really want to see how these interact or if they crystallize at all. Now these ones over here are the same thing. Here's the bismuth one, here is the matte one, here is the red mason stain one on Antilamon's second run. The only one that's truly different is this one here. This is War V2. This is essentially my Red Lotus glaze, but updated, and it has a little bismuth in it. I'm going through a bismuth phase right now, and it's really hard to find information because no one uses it in their glazes except for like the top people in the ceramics world. But it has really, really good applications if you know how to use it, especially with crystal glazes. See my blog at earthnationceramics.com to see some test results with bismuth. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I know everything about it, but I do know enough to know how to use it at this point. Okay, with that being said, these are our tests. Put down in the comments below which one you think will come out the best, or if they'll crystallize at all, and let's put these in the kiln. So I'm gonna do this in a scaling manner. So the things that I think are the worst is what we're gonna see first, and the things that I think are the best, or that you will like the most, we're gonna do last. So let's look at the most grotesque thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. Let's look at a glaze I call Antilemon's second run, which is, after you see this, is going to be discontinued, and you will see why in a second. This was Antilemon's second run with a little bit of mason stain in it and Amico's ebony black on the outside. The black was perfect. It's nice, reflective, I love it. See, I'm wearing a black shirt and you can still see me. This glaze is a banger. This glaze comes out perfect every single time and it almost never runs. I'll put a link down below to it if you want to see it, because I truly do think this is one of the best blacks that Amico has ever developed. However, the glaze that I developed So more and more recently, I've been paying attention to where I've learned a large portion of my glaze making skills, the Ceramics Material Workshop, and they've recently started talking about mason stains and how they ought to be used and some of the failings that people have with them. And this was a very obvious mistake after listening to them talk about mason stains. This had a buttload of zinc in it. So much so that the other glaze combos that I made with it as well, so this entire base of the glaze had enough zinc in it combined with mason stain, I think it was 6097, which was one of the reds, that yeah, the zinc didn't get along with whatever was in there. Disgusting. I should have used calcium base, like they said. That would have fixed a lot of problems, because the next week I actually used a calcium based version. Where is it? I'll show it to you. The next week I actually made one that was strictly calcium based, and it came out fine. A little thick down here, but the majority of the tests afterwards came out perfect. Came out the color that most people expect with using just 8% of this red mason stain. So this was my fault. I will fully admit this was my fault. But for those of you who want to see some monstrous stuff, there you go. There you go. These two tests did get ruined, unfortunately. Give it the old Avada Kedavra. Actually, I don't even like Harry Potter. I think it's just a funny word. I want to clarify that. I don't have a problem with Harry Potter as a story for children. I have a problem with Harry Potter, the character. If he was just if Hermione was the chosen one, would have been done by book 4. Seriously. I don't know why they didn't make her the chosen one, because then they couldn't sell you more books. But like Harry Potter is, he's down there as far as intelligence goes. And I feel like if you gave a more intelligent wizard the chosen one power, would have been figured out. Book 1, she would have been like, oh, clearly all the dark arts teachers are evil. Let's just take care of that now. Would have been done. This next one is one of my deep iron saturated khaki red experiments. This was a glaze I call War. It was named after War Greymon, but I have another glaze that already has that name, so I just shortened it. I'm not trying to be cringe with the name. I name most of my glazes after Digimon, but I put a little bit of bismuth in this and it came out pretty good. Unfortunately, I did fire this kiln load accidentally to cone 7. So it turned red, as it usually does, and it did make crystals, but because I overfired it, it did kill off most of those crystals. And of course, I'm just crutching this black that Amico gave me. I'm serious, I'm gonna use this black for a very long time. It's truly a stable black. You can really tell how stable it is. I promise you this is not an Amico video, but seriously, this black is really good. You can tell how good it is, because this right here, I usually leave a little moat right here for glaze to be caught in. And usually the glaze, when it becomes liquid glass in the kiln, it'll all move into this moat, making a nice even edge. It didn't even do that. That's how stable it is. By the way, I don't know if you guys remember in that video where I reviewed this glaze, but I did say to lower the specific gravity and it would probably turn the same black and not have the crawling problems. And yeah, guess what I did? And guess the color I'm getting. One of the ones that surprised me a little bit more was one of my green glazes. I'm pretty sure this is Gargomon mixed in with Gomamon Gray right here. And this has a little bit of tin in it. And of course, my Gargomon has a chrome base to make it green. So when it combined, and I didn't know it did this, it ended up making a slight bit of pink right there. And that's beautiful. I love that. And I mean, it has a smidgen of tin in it. It's really a beautiful combo that I just figured. It's really a beautiful combo that we discovered. The really neat thing is that this glaze performs really well even at cone 7. I like to develop my glazes for cone 6. So when they overfire, I can very easily tell, and when they're underfired, I can very easily tell, right? This one just works. Just works. And that green is coming out really well as well. I'm really happy with this green. I now have a standard green that's not Laogai green. Now there's one that I'd like to show you that doesn't make too much sense. If you've been following my blog at earthnationceramics.com, you will know that I've been trying to make a liner glaze that has calcium crystals in it. It's just a glaze that has these little white specks in it if you fire it just the right way with the right hold on it, XYZ, XYZ. Well, this was my first attempt and I don't think I succeeded. Actually, that's a lie. I do think I succeeded. I think I just did it very poorly. I don't know if you can see right there, but I think those are calcium crystals. And that to me is very lucky to get on my first try. Although if I get it right here and put it in the right light, you can very clearly see them after that. And you can see them on a very small scale here as well, and possibly even in the middle. But this is far too runny to be called a real liner glaze. I mean, I can't have that at the bottom of every single bowl. That's not right. And the outside has a good old classic Red Lotus from the Clayscapes company, but of course it got overfired, so it turned a little bit dark. I just want there to be proof that I am making headway on my calcium crystal liner glaze. I'm not just putting in blogs and then like not doing it. This one is the one that I do think you guys will like. A surprise to me and a surprise to everyone else who's been following me on Instagram, I accidentally, well kind of, first tried a crystal glaze. And I'm not usually a crystal glaze potter, but this kind of opens up a new door for me because I think I'm going to be a crystal glaze potter pretty soon. Again, the outside is Gomamon Gray, and you can see right here, it had a little bit of interaction with Gomamon Gray and the new crystal glaze. I've been calling this glaze anti-lemon because half of the crystal glazes that I've ever made in my life always turn out this weird yellow color. And granted, I do have recipes from other people, but this is the first time that I've tried to develop a crystal glaze all on my own with the help of the knowledge that I got from CMW. And, you know, they got some pretty good information over there, so I did in fact succeed on my first try. I am going to keep this recipe and probably improve on it so that I can get rid of this crazing right here, if I'm lucky. Usually crystal glazes like to craze, but I think I can get rid of that if I try hard enough. I also, just because I wanted to be safe, got a test dial of it, so I got the white version of it with no colorants right here. Well, thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. Now, don't get too excited, but I did make a bunch of testers in between the first set of bowls and the second set of bowls. You remember how many bowls we had to glaze? Well, technically speaking, that bought us 2 kiln loads, and I have only showed you a few sets of bowls. Well, I love you, so I know I didn't record myself glazing them, and I'm not gonna give you specific gravity and application and bibbidi bobbidi boo and all that, but now I do have a little bit of a surprise for you in that the amount of bowls that I had to glaze technically bought us 2 kiln loads, which means double the amount of experiments. So in today's video, not only are you gonna see the stuff that I've been working on, you're probably also gonna see the progression of the things I've been working on. For example, there's a couple of glazes that just ultimately failed. Some of them are actual trash. You actually might have already seen this in the video, which I'm sure many of you are enamored with, but this, to someone who's trying to make their own crystal glaze, is over-nucleated. This is too many crystals, which stifles the crystals and doesn't give them room to grow. The crystals can't get big or anything because there's far too many crystals in the way. Plus, if you look really closely, there is crazing, and that's not good for me. Yeah, but don't like 90% of all crystal glazes craze? Okay, yes, but not if you know what you're doing. This is the second version of the crystal glaze that I just developed. Way more space in between the crystals, no crazing whatsoever on my porcelain. It truly came out way better, way better. And this is only the second shot that I've taken in developing a crystal glaze. So I'm really happy with this. I think we're gonna keep this as a base recipe. And you know on this channel, we like to double tap, so we made one of these to make sure, and then of course I had to make sure the crazing was gone completely. So we made a second one, and it came out exactly the same. And of course we had to do a test style, so we made another test style here to make sure the crazing was gone, and it came out exactly the same. Like, I'm very happy with these tests. We are going to be sending these, okay, not this, of course. We are going to be sending these bowls off to empty bowls. Who knows, maybe I'll start becoming friends with crystal potters. They're always in some little weird cult, as if they have secrets that no one else knows in the pottery glaze community. Okay, well, I did it in 2 tests, so let me in your club. We also had to test some combos, so I have another version of Red Lotus right here. Sorry about that, editor. If you could just fix that. Put the tag in there, or else I will forget what it is. That's the secret when you're doing combos. Write a little piece of paper down, make sure you know where it is in the kiln. As soon as it comes out of the kiln, put the piece of paper with the combo in the bowl, and then write it down somewhere else, and you will have your own catalog of combinations sooner or later. I also, if you've been following the blogs at earthnationceramics.com, made a calcium matte liner glaze. It's actually semi-matte, but I wanted to play with it and see if it would take mason stains. It came out really good. I actually took that same calcium liner base and put a little bit of pink stain in there, and it took it really well. It didn't stay too matte for whatever reason. This is my first time experimenting with it, but it came out really nice. I did get a solid kind of rosy pink, and if you look really close, and I mean really close, you can see little calcium crystals. I am very happy with this glaze. I'm going to improve on the recipe, I think, because I would like it to be a little less matte than this, but these are amazing. The fact that I got this close in 2 or 3 tests is really good, because usually it takes me like a couple months to develop a new glaze, but these were like my first or second try. I just want to give a quick shout out to Ceramics Material Workshop. I'm pretty sure I annoy them, but even their self-taught classes are bangers. And do you know how I know those are calcium crystals? Because I made another test trying to purposefully make calcium crystals, and I succeeded in that too. I'm actually really happy with this kiln load. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did for the universe to be so kind to me, but like I got like a new pink glaze and a new calcium liner glaze, and then got a new calcium crystal glaze, and then the Red Lotus is coming out good, and then we have this thing which clearly won the entire kiln load. Almost all the tests came out fantastic. Well, thank you, Dirty Potters, for joining me today. You know, if you want to see any close-up and personal pictures of these bowls, I will be posting them on my Instagram. Those links will be down below for you, just in case you want to see anything, because technically I didn't show you all of the bowls that came out of the second kiln opening. I have way too many here, and this is maybe a third of them that I haven't cataloged inside of my Glaze profile or in my own personal files yet. So if you do want to see any of that stuff, I heavily suggest you follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Those links will be down below. Thank you very much for joining me today. I'm sorry we can't go through all of the bowls, but it would be a super long video if we did. We are giving these to empty bowls. Once again, I will put those links down below to the Empty Bowls Associations as well. Hopefully you guys have a great next kiln load. Remember to click all those YouTube buttons, and I will see you, Dirty Potters, next week.
Thank you for your patronage.
I wish there was a way we can give Potter points on YouTube. Like, if you could guess in the comments below which one of these would crystallize, then I would like apply 5 Potter points to your profile. And then after 100 points, you could turn it in for like a request video or something. I don't know, that'd be nice.